Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 222 of On the Backs of Gods. I am your DM, Jillian, and we have our players here today. Same as always. We have Matt, Katie, Josh, and Greg. As you can see, Kyle is not here today, so that means anything I make his character do is canon. So that's fun for me. And I'll dwell on that and see if something comes to mind. I've already accidentally made him allergic to coconut and into raving. So we'll see what comes with this power
He also
this session.
sometimes moonlights as Dolph, the hero of Arentoft. So, like,
Well,
he has a
that wasn't my choice. The other two
no.
were kind of choices I made in the moment with too much power.
It does happen sometimes.
But let me give you guys a quick recap and we can jump into things. Currently, our party is pretty split. Some of y'all are chilling in Skull City, which self explanatory is a big city inside of an even bigger skull. Um, Very technologically advanced, magically advanced, and all around pretty good place to be in the winter, it seems, as it is nice and heat regulated. Um, you did some work for the kiln, and then you got fired by the kiln, and Nyx didn't like that y'all got fired by the kiln, and felt really bad that the kiln didn't trust y'all, especially because in if you like put enough like points and strings on things, the kiln is her father-in-law kind of. She is married to an employee of the kiln who is just they're really close. um
The
it's kind of
relationship
a
one could
familial
call
situationship.
it's a paternal sort of like father figure kind of situation. It,
Yeah,
you
from a
know,
dude who's like maybe 4 years older than you, tops.
it happens.
um Hey, anybody can be daddy. So
True.
Nyx, not liking how that all went down, stomps over to go see the kiln, Sindri, and basically offers like immediately to swear an oath on the spear Gungnir. Uh, and he says, "Okay, if that'll make you feel better." And picks up the spear, seems to have hesitation and struggle with picking the spear up and putting it down. Nyx, you even touched the spear for a second and got to feel like an aggressive amount of energy like radiating off of it and like moving through your body. Uh, but basically, you make a an oath to Sindri that you will not tell any, your words will not lie or whatever. Um, you will not lie to him with your words, something like that. And you're like, bet, here's what happened. And you immediately jump into it. First thing you do is immediately throw Dagwood under the bus, um, saying that she has secret papers on her person, and these were Ave's plans, and you should go get those because they're probably informative or bad, unclear. You're welcome. And he says, "Hey, the thing is, I don't like that those papers exist, and I'd love to see them, but I can't make my relationship with Dagwood worse. I can't cause problems there, because I think we already have a bigger problem than can ever be solved. Is just our relationship." And Nick said that the papers last time were hidden on a secret pocket inside Morden's shirt. So the kiln asks if she will, without violence, go and see if she can get the papers from Morden while he's out on his nightly shopping trips to acquire supplies and food for himself and Dagwood. Nix is like, "Awesome, I'm invested," and skips off to go do that. uh, Keld was with Rose, who had a little bit of a cry and a little bit of an emotional telling of information with Keld and Nyx earlier, basically being like, "I don't want to talk to Roshan because I'm worried if he has time to think about it, he's not going to follow through with what I want him to follow through with." So I've been trying to hold off as long as I can because I don't want to do it alone. Uh, and Keld made her dinner and tried to convince her to message Roshan. She declines, and Keld says, "Well, you have a lovely night," and then jogs all the way to Pink's, the nightclub, to go talk to Roshan, and basically is like, I think just the phrase "your sister," and then he was gone. Roshan disappearing into the night in a puff of smoke. Uh, and Keld said, "Okay," and then stayed at Pink's to chill with Thor and the ladies. Uh, Roshan, you go and talk to Rose, who informs you that both of you are power sources. That's the only reason you exist, is you were made to do this, and that Ave was nice enough to at least let us choose if we want to do this, compared to what Jinli was going to do, which was eat you as babies, probably. Uh, have a little baby feast. But Baby Feast is the hardest metal band I've ever heard in my fucking life. Anybody's welcome to have that. Tell me when you make Baby Feast real. I'll be here. Um, but she
There is a
says,
web comic. Hmm.
called Baby Feast. Well,
Well, it's
now it's
called
ruined. I wanted a
Unsounded,
metal.
but
No, it needs to be Baby Feast. Uh, you've
talk
all
to
heard
Ashley
me.
Cope. She might take notes on that.
I Anyone's welcome to steal Baby Feast. Uh, I don't own Baby Feast. But Rose. Basically, you guys are batteries, power sources, and Ave gave you the choice if you'd like to actually use that power for his intent, which is, it seems, to create a separate entity that is stronger so that it can protect people on the continent and deal with corruption. And Rose is like, no matter what, I'm going to complete this ritual, which I am very positive that probably won't survive. And if I do, something like, it's like, she's like, I do not know what happens. I kind of assume I'll die or something will occur, but it seems death is very much on the table. And that she's like, you're going to have time to think about this, and you're going to try and find ways to subvert this and try and fix it. And that's why she didn't want to give you a lot of time to think about it. And Roshan's like, of course I'm going to do all of those things, but also I'm in. And Roshan agrees that he will be part of this ritual. And I'd say they shake on it, but they don't, because I think when you're like twins, you don't got to do that. I think it's just vibes are enough, you know? Snuggling together for honk shoes is enough. So Roshan and Rose hang out in the extra dimensional mansion that Roshan has. And Roshan opens up a channel with the Keeper, which you can only assume probably is the entity that Ave was trying to make. Uh, and the Keeper thinks this is bullshit. The Keeper's like, this is the worst shit you've ever fucking told me, and does not want to participate, does not think it is worth Roshan's life, is fully against this, does not want this to happen, especially like for themselves, because it is for the Keeper. And the Keeper's like, I don't like that. And no. So there's a little back and forth on that. So Roshan has two very important people to him who have very different opinions on the topic. Um, Meanwhile, some people are just like chilling at the beach and like eating good food and surfing and like having a pretty decent time. Um, and that's kind of where we are, is on the beach in hell, is where I think we'll start. uh, Fen is currently having a beautiful dinner with a very beautiful woman, Corrine, who he asked on a date, implying that they could get food or go for a walk. And she said, that'd be very cool. What if I put you in a teleportation circle and we go across the ocean and we go to the beach? And that's why we're all at the beach now. So they're having dinner and enjoying their time while Nana and her, I suppose her knight, Rex, is with her, and they're enjoying beach festivities and talking and surfing and wearing sunscreen, because you should wear sunscreen. If you learn anything from the Dice Call, wear sunscreen. Eat baby, wear sunscreen. These are the things you get to learn here. But we are
You
on the
have to
beach.
take care of your skin.
Yeah, these are two ways to take care of your skin. The sun is beginning to set. and the sky is gorgeous. Reds, orange, purples. It is like looking at a painting. And just the bottom of this painting is lined with these like terrible jagged rocks. And as the sun sets, you can almost kind of see like the outlines of even further jagged rocks that become like thicker and more consistent, taking up more space in the ocean, kind of confirming why it is so difficult to travel by boat off of the continent, why your continent is so secluded, is because the waters are treacherous and full of terrible sharp rocks, and probably worse, but at minimum, big sharp rocks. Uh,
Toothy Bay.
I
Toothy
mean,
Bay.
big sharp rocks will do it a lot of times. And then you got everything else that lives down there.
Yeah. And we can only assume because corruption and magic are real that the water is bad. So take that as you will. But that's where we are. We're at the beach. Currently, Fen is hanging out with Corrine at a restaurant. They're probably on to dessert at this point. Nana, what are you doing?
Well, I think that Nana has been genuinely trying to enjoy her time with Rex, has been throwing herself pretty wholeheartedly into attempts to learn how to surf. She is very impressed by the fact that she has just been able to stand up on this board on the water. That's very novel. And not fall over immediately. I think it's probably at least like about this time that she's maybe like glanced back shorewise once or twice, and I assume Fen and Kareen are like inside a restaurant, so they're not visible.
They're sitting on the outside portion of the restaurant, so you can like still see the dots of what is them, you know?
Yeah, it's like they're like way the hell down the beach, right? Last I remember
Yeah,
from where
you
we're
can
hanging
see
out.
that
Yeah.
their outlines are still at that table
Okay.
at the restaurant.
Okay. Okay. So Rex, um, so a little more advice. You're really earning your keep today, and I really appreciate it.
Currently, the two of you are just like sitting on your boards
Yeah, yeah.
out in the middle of the water. And he's like, okay. It's
Yeah,
like, all right.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So
the man's like, I thought I was done, but I'm back in it. They always pull you back
just
in.
a little, just a little. Hi, so if I wanted to uh if I wanted to try and make an honest inquiry with the person who Fern has an interest in, um what how do I approach them without looking like I'm trying to corner them? I I don't want to come in on the offense. I would like to I'd like to approach this as potentially collaborative. I'd like to maybe encourage the other person to take Fern's best interest at heart if they truly do have such an interest in Fern, right? And so, like, if I happened across the two of them, certainly it's not on to interrupt them while they are in a moment together, enjoying one another's company. But how does one ensure one can have? I don't want for Fern to feel like I am coddling her or trying to mother her or whatever. So it wouldn't. I wouldn't love for her to hear me speaking to this other person. I don't know. How can I approach this in a way that I don't know. I keep thinking of this in terms of quarry and positioning and timing and tactics, and it's I really am out of my depth.
Well, assuming this is a person that Fern is dating and not a wild animal we are hunting, um, you've been given the luxury, or for some people, I suppose, the luxury of communication. Most people, if you are familiar with each other or have similar goals or just aren't really in a hurry, people will talk to you if you ask to talk to them.
Is it really that easy?
And the thing is, if they don't want to talk to you, they'll say no.
Right, but okay, all right, fine. Yes, there's conclusions I can make about that as well, but that's not as informative as I'd like for this to be, so. I don't know. Is it better if I just don't involve myself? Do I just, I don't know, stay on the sidelines and hope?
Do you think you can survive that?
Hmm. I don't have enough in me to carry that and keep everyone else safe. I can't do both.
Well, if the intent is making yourself efficient and not a liability, then I would certainly feel motivated to go have a conversation.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right, you're right.
Um, may I say,
Mm,
I have not been with you very long, uh, so I'll just make assumptions. Uh, I am sure you are a very talented hunter. I will give you that benefit of the doubt. I have seen you, and I believe exactly one combat, and it went well. Everyone did well, except with all the freezing up. But all in all, everyone survived, and that's usually the goal. So I will assume that in cases of quarry, you are skilled. In most cases, when it comes to animals, we will always have the upper hand. When it comes to people, that fluctuates, right? There are some people you will always have the upper hand against, and there are some you will not. So, in cases where you do not think you have the upper hand, if you are aiming for peace, I would try not to grab it. Let them keep it. No tactics, nothing that can be misconstrued, unless you are trying to flip the upper hand. But if you are not, allow them to keep it.
that makes sense. Beating about the bush would only make it seem like I wasn't trying for what I was saying. I wasn't being earnest. And, I don't know, I suppose I'm trying to fake it until I make it as best I can. So I hope that I hope the risk is not going to hurt somebody besides me. That's all.
I don't know Fern and her paramour very well, but most of the time, casual, controlled conversation does not lead to adversarial relationships. I think there are no downsides if you keep your head.
That's the harder part, but I'm hoping to go in with a level 1, so I hope that helps.
And no matter what, you leave with one.
Okay. Right. I think I can do that.
Well, I'm gonna go take a walk on the beach for no reason.
Think
Just
that's fair.
clear my head. Just take a
I
bit of
have
a walk
to
around.
powder my nose anyway, and I'll catch you on the other side.
Of course. You two will take your boards back to shore. He will turn them in, and he will walk in the opposite direction of where Corrine and Fen are.
Cool. Nana will sort of meander in the direction of Fen and Kareen and at least try and compose herself on the way and get her head straight.
Okay. This will be for Kyle because Kyle would be the only one to experience it, and it seems weird not to just say it out loud because I would have anyways.
Fair.
So while they are having dinner, Fen and Corrine, the only people that really approach them is like the same waiter who brings them food, says very quick pleasantries, and is gone. Is basically a shadow going to and from this table, showing up with food, taking away plates, and mostly remaining incredibly quiet. Uh, the only time there is conversation outside of Corrine and Fen is when a woman and a small child approach the table. This woman is wearing this two-piece yellow dress, bit of a plunging neckline, but it also has like a bit of a collar at the top, so it's more of a window in the middle for the neckline. So covers fully up to the collar and then goes down in the middle. Long billowy sleeves, a skirt that goes down to the ankles and is sort of sheer at the ends. Uh, Tanned skin, dark brown hair, uh, deep, like mahogany eyes. And next to her is a young child, um, maybe 4, uh, wearing oranges and yellows in the same fabrics, uh, has a bit of curly dark hair on top, uh, has that look on their face of a scared child who has been brought up to people that they do not know and now has to like be near people instead of in like, it's like you can see that the kid wants to like is kind of like trying to lean in and behind a bit the woman holding their hand, but she seems to be holding firm, and in his other hand he is tightly holding on to a very beautiful, it looks kind of like a bird of paradise flower, and just kind of like has eyes on the ground. Corrine stands, and I'm going to assume Fen follows suit when she glances at him. He will stand as well, and the woman and Corrine greet each other like old friends. Fen is able to be introduced, that this is Maku Ahine, and that, you know what, I'm gonna roll something for Fen because I have his character sheet up. Fen vaguely recognizes her from the party. This happened to be a woman that he was standing near Corrine when they were communicating at one point. So the complexion and the bright yellow is reminiscent of something he saw at the party. Uh, but uh, they have very quick pleasantries. Corrine thanks her for the short notice and allowing her entry here and being so accommodating. Uh, the woman, they kind of match each other in flowery flattery. They match each other in this very like cloying sweetness, this cloying niceness as they speak to each other, polite conversation. Uh, and Corrine will ask, "Now, who is this?" And Maku will reach down and put a hand onto his back and push the boy forwards. Uh, you can kind of hear the scrape of his shoes on the wood as he is moved forward. Introduce yourself. Hi, Miss Corrine. I'm Azalea. This is for you. And reaches up and holds up the bird of paradise aloft, eyes glancing at her and then back down. That is very sweet. Thank you so much, Azalea. And she will take the flower and is able to kind of finagle it into her hair. That's very sweet. And Corrine smiles. A couple more pleasantries are exchanged. Nothing of import is discussed. It is just two very important seeming women saying hello to each other very politely. And eventually they will say their goodbyes and they will separate. Uh, Nana, you're at the tail end of this when because you can, from where you are, you see the third party approach, them stand, looks like they're having a conversation, and then this person begins to like turn and walk off as they begin to like sit back down and go back to their date. How you going about this?
Man, that's the fucking question, isn't it? Mm, hmm. I think probably it is going to wind up being walking to the table and greeting the both of them friendly, cordially, and asking Fen, would you mind very much if I asked for a brief moment of Corinne's time? Only for a momentary conversation, civil, and I'll return it right after. No harm done, I promise.
You can see like the eyebrow raised on Corrine. The raise of the eyebrow starts on the word civil. When you have to state that, she's like, interesting. Just there's a slight raise. And then slightly more at I'll bring her back, no harm, no foul. And she's like, she doesn't say anything. She just like glances over at Fen, like, am I excused? Am I excused from the table? Uh Fen, I think I'll just go off of instinct. I think this isn't Fen's favorite thing that's ever happened.
That's
I
understandable.
I think there is hesitation. And then he would probably check in with Corrine that she is content to have this conversation. Oh, of course. I like to walk around after eating anyways. And besides, you haven't finished your dessert. And Corrine will stand up. I have time. And she will walk towards the sand, and her arm She reaches out and her fingers graze over Fen's shoulder as she walks out towards the
Um,
sunset.
I do think, like, before she steps away to leave, Nana will, like, momentarily, like, place her hand in front of Fen's on the table. Like, not, not like on his hand, beside his hand. And say, thank you for your trust. I appreciate it. And she's going to turn and go, walk alongside Kareen.
Are you able to turn your gain up a little bit?
I am indeed. Let me do so. 1 second here. Where are you, game buddy?
I just
There
can't
you
turn you
are.
any higher on my end.
Understood. Cranking up a little bit there. Is that better? Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
Sure, it's better than it was. I'll take it.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. I think as Nana follows Kareen, she'll take pace alongside her and say, thank you very much for agreeing to speak with me. I've not been perhaps the most warm. I would like to offer apologies for my incivility. I acted out of concern, perhaps misplaced. Entirely possibly misplaced. We both have esteem for Fen. Mine is not like yours, but I'd like to believe that a dozen or so years of acquaintance could count for something. And I would like to state, I genuinely want your relationship to be a truly bright point in both your lives. I do. Fen is my closest friend, and when we arrived in town for your party...
She raises a hand. Do you smoke?
I'm not against it. I will, on occasion, yes.
And from this itty bitty bag that she has, she will produce a cigarette and like offer one out to you.
Okay. Nana will take that. Thank you very kindly.
She will light them, and she's just kind of like staring out at the sunset while she smokes. I didn't mean to interrupt.
More than fair, understandable, and actually appreciated. My emotions were elevated around the time of your party for a number of different reasons, quite a number of them having nothing to do with you. There was a moment, and I'm not sure if you were aware of this. There was a point during our preparations for your party when we realized that Fen was under some form of enchantment. This, from an outside perspective, which I'll admit may well have been colored with bias, seemed to also coincide with his infatuation with you, if nothing else. Apologies. The timing was... it felt beyond coincidental at the time. And it seemed also to coincide with moments during the party itself when it seemed as though I saw Fen speaking with people whom I could not think of much reason for him to speak with, doing things I could not think of much reason for him to do. I perhaps jumped to hasty conclusions and assumed you had any knowledge of such an enchantment. May I ask, speaking as both of us being folk who have esteem for the same person, were you aware of the enchantment Fen was under?
She takes she kind of exhales smoke. Of course, I was controlling his mind.
Okay. The cigarette was an excellent idea.
I thought so.
Is there any of that left?
No.
I
Since
would
he
like
walked
to.
out of the party for the last time,
Mm-hmm.
there has been no interference from me of the magical variety.
May I incite the statement?
Sure.
I do have advantage, and Nana would like to be sure. Good, good, good. With advantage. That gives me, total of, 22.
I will provide you with the evidence you have before you, as that is what I can give you. Corrine, there was no hesitation and no, in this moment, negative associations or hesitancy with informing you that she was controlling Fen's mind. So that does not seem like something that she is currently hiding.
Okay.
She is not giving away any tells. She is speaking very evenly.
Okay.
Take from that what you will if you think she is now keeping that a secret or not.
Okay. I appreciate you being willing to answer me honestly. I really do. May I ask, then, does your spell contain some measure within it which inherently dissuades the subject from believing that this effect happened to them?
Now that
After the
is
fact.
a very interesting question that I'd actually love to talk about. And she looks over at Fen. To put it simply, when I enchant someone, they follow through very happily with tasks that I assign them to, feel mostly only good emotions when associating with me. And once that spell is broken, they come to terms with it in their own way, I suppose. That it takes time to realize what happened. Some of it, when relayed to me before, can seem dreamlike or like it happened a much longer time ago than it did. But those memories are not lost. He still has them. It just depends on which ones his brain held on to as more important. They're all still there, but it's as if it is an older memory. Now, does it stop them from knowing what happened? Most of the time, I would say most of those enchanted can come to the conclusion that something occurred. That is not a difficult leap in logic for them to acquire because they have their memories of what they have done. And sometimes that does not align with what they intend to do normally. Now, I am not doing anything to alter his mind currently, but his mind certainly is altered.
Okay. I appreciate you saying as much because that feels extremely validating. Okay, so in that case, is there a way in which I do not want to talk around potential treatments behind his back, but it does not seem like he. I don't know. It seems like it is a full shutdown of any possible allowance of belief. It feels like, I don't know, it feels root. Just the fact that it was brought up at all. Full stop, the entire subject, he can't discuss it, won't, refuses to believe it. I fielded to him my suspicion that you had enchanted him, and he refused broadly and roundly to believe it.
There are ways to subvert enchantments or modifications of the mind. Usually, very powerful restorative magics can be used. I don't know what caused this. I can see it, and it's a shame that it occurred because um, he didn't ask. He just, I think, uh, takes blindly sometimes as he's more looking forward and not what is placed in his hand. Yes. Uh, and she smiles at a compliment to herself. She smiles at complimenting herself.
Mm.
Um, but I gave him a gift, um, sort of a parting gift that I suppose can make me feel more lenient in my own choices towards myself. Where if this item is used, it can prevent uh, what I did from happening again, but it must be used. It does not fix after the fact. Um, as I don't think this is an enchantment of the mind. I don't feel as if I am competing with someone, but his mind is certainly altered in some way. I am, I suppose, benefiting from that greatly. And honestly, I believe if I told him to his face, he would come up with a reason why I am insisting that I controlled his mind. And at this point, he may think I would be doing it just to bring
Appease
you.
me.
Yes. And
Right.
so
It
I
was
won't
rather
do
my
that.
concern. I
So
appreciate that,
I'll
so.
keep that between us.
At
And the
least for
thing
the
is,
moment.
between you and I don't often regret my choices. I usually do things, and a lot of people do this even if they don't realize it. I do things in my own interest. I'm not afraid to say that I take care of myself. And when I see a gaggle enter my establishment, one who I consider to possibly have negative feelings towards me, perhaps I react. Uh, I certainly react. Um, and I picked him because I liked what I could see in his eyes. And I realize now that I could have gotten every single thing I wanted without touching him with a drop of magic, I think. And that makes me feel a bit bad. But it has, I suppose, enamored me.
He is among the most forthright people I have ever met. He is stalwart and loyal to a fault. And if I may be frank with you in privacy, I think you are extremely lucky to have his affection. I really do.
I wouldn't disagree. Now,
I'd like for the both of you to do well.
mm,
And if I may be of any help on that front, I'm glad to be. But I'm not sure what I can do as far as whatever's shrouding his mind right now.
um, I suppose you can look into magics to try to alter it, or perhaps where the magic came from. That's usually a very good way to deal with alterations, as it were, is to find the source.
Yeah.
It
That's the problem. It didn't seem very obvious. It only seemed to come up during that one conversation, and I don't believe I've seen it happen again in regards to anything else, I don't think. But
sadly, I have no leads for you. I could. I have my talents with magic, but I would say that trying to find the source of this problem is a bit out of my forte. Uh, and you
I
are all
can
very smart, so.
we have a fair few very talented magic users among our crew, and I imagine any number of them would be quite motivated to see Fen free of any compulsions, if possible. He is loyal, but he also very much values being able to move freely, and he does not. I would not have wanted to have told him to his face that someone he cared for had manipulated his mind, if I did not think it was true. You understand? Um, it's something he has said before has not been. Anyway, it's behind us now, and I do not want to dwell on that. And I
Here's the
appreciate.
thing. Let me, I suppose, solidify the intent of putting it behind us, as I think is best. I think this was a conversation that needed having, but I care for Fen. I find him very charming, and I can see such sorrow in the pits of his eyes.
He's known a lot. He's been through so much more than I would ever have wanted a friend of mine to suffer.
Now, I know you do not want his mind addled as it is currently. That is understandable, and is understandable in the case of when I was myself addling it. Now, you can put this in your hat and dwell on it. He has known great sorrow, and I can still see it upon him. What do you think will happen if you add me to that sorrow? I don't need you to answer that. That's just something I'd like you to dwell on. I can't promise Fen forever. I could, in some ways. But people change, times change, intents change. I can promise him tomorrow. I can't say he could promise me forever. I have no intent to harm him, and have currently no plans to do such in the foreseeable future, as I am quite content with where things are between him and I. And I think starting at this point, she says, and sort of like looks down at the sand.
Mm.
Starting at this point, everything before is irrelevant. Mostly for his benefit. And I think perhaps yours as well.
Yeah. I believe that's best, and for what it's worth, simply being able to speak on the matter with you has been very helpful. Thank you.
So, I suppose unless it seems more hindering and harmful, perhaps we leave him as he is.
For the time being, I'll be keeping an eye on him. I'm certain we'll be traveling further. If I see something else happen similar to what happened before, would you mind if I let you know?
Of course, I am often available to talk and feel as if we all have a beautiful, blossoming relationship in store for all of us.
Certainly, much more peaceable than prior to this point. Nana looks down at the sand.
Mm.
But
Well, I
much
can tell
brighter now.
you, even before this point, I don't think I had any negative connotations of you. So I'm starting from quite an easy position. Hopefully, I've provided enough steps, enough handholds that you are able to get to a place where you can sit neutrally.
It has certainly made the journey a great deal easier. Yes, thank you. Whatever's gone before is gone, and whatever's for the future, I hope is bright. For however long the two of you are together, I hope that it is everything that you desire, and more.
Here's hoping. I shouldn't keep him waiting. And she kind of
I
glances over, and
imagine
you can
not.
see Fen like
Yeah, just like
tilting in his
waiting,
chair and then
watching.
going back to normal, and then like looking and then going back.
Yes, definitely, and I should not keep my I don't know if you can call a single person a retinue, but I'm not sure quite exactly how to refer to Rex. But my friend is definitely waiting further down the beach. I'll not keep him, and thank you again for the conversation and the cigarette.
Of course, you both are able to use the teleportation circle before, I believe, 10 tonight. I will send Fen back in the morning.
Very well. I hope the both of you enjoy your evening.
She smiles and disposes appropriately of her cigarette.
Indeed.
There's
We
just
do
a,
not litter on this
there's just
beach.
a trash
There's like
can just right there. No, they're
it's a
perfect.
little rolling one. It's a little magic little doohickey. It rolls around on the beach and just lets
It
you
showed
pop
up.
the
It
cigarettes
knows when
in.
you're holding trash.
Yeah.
And it looks like she does like a little prestidigitation like near her mouth and like gets
Buffs
rid
up
of the
her lipstick.
smell in
Yeah.
general
Nice.
and makes her way back over to Fen. So basically, you were politely informed that you can go home.
Cool. That's fair. Makes sense
You're
to me.
welcome.
You're welcome. And what time frame are we coming up on at this point? Hour-ish or time frame-ish?
I mean, you still have a good time before 10. The sun is just setting. So
Okay.
you have time if there were things
Cool.
you wanted to do, but it is now getting dark.
All right, fair enough. In which case, Nana will rustle up drinks for herself and Rex, and will go and probably like drink a bit of her own after politely and properly disposing of her own cigarette butt. Drink some of her own, get rid of some of that cigarette smell, and go join Rex. Um, hope the walk was good.
I hope your walk was also good.
It was bracing and much needed. I brought refreshments.
Hmm. And I'm assuming you and Rex probably hang out for a bit longer, and
A bit.
at some point we'll
Make our way
head
home.
back.
Yeah. What is like food pricing around here? Because if it's astronomical, we're going back to the other town for food.
I would say it's probably like a gold each for like a meal scenario here.
Which I mean, like,
Is a little pricey.
a little pricey. Well, Rex, I will leave the decision to you. Would you like a slightly pricier meal here or some more simple fare back in, is it Jarlsbecker? I'm sorry, my brain.
Yes.
It is Jarlsbecker. Back in Jarlsbecker.
So he's going to be like, we just bamfed across the ocean. I'm going
We
to
sure did.
probably eat food here.
Yeah,
Um,
that
and
sounds fun.
he probably at least has a gold on his person to pay for himself.
If he doesn't, Nana does have him because he's here because she's here. So if he
But
needs
the
it,
two
he's
of
got
you
it.
are welcome to eat, and then I suppose you uh, kind of clean off as best you can, and then head
Yeah.
back to Jarlsbecker.
Yup.
Um,
Heck yeah.
and if at some point late in the evening, before leaving, you glance back over at the two figures watching the sun
Mm-hmm.
fully disappear behind these sharp, jagged rocks, uh, you're a bit far away, but perhaps it looks like they lean in and kiss.
All right.
But you
Better not do
and
nothing Nana wouldn't do.
you go back to Jarlsbecker and can hang out back in the freezing cold that is the rest of the continent.
Hooray.
And you and Rex settle down for bed.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Nyx, you have been making your way downwards towards your next mission. Kel, you step back inside, and I suppose it's like you just had this conversation with Nyx where she's like, I'm doing a mission, and then continued forward. And you sort of step back into the club. What would you like to do?
I think he kind of does a double take and like spins around and it's like, hold on. What's this mission? We'll catch up with Nyx.
Yeah, you go after Nyx.
I'm at the rap cart.
Is this the mission?
Oh, no. I mean, part of it out. She'll explain the whole thing that she's going down to talk to Morden because Sindri wants her to get these papers.
Ah,
So I'm
you're
gonna just.
working.
Well, I'm not getting paid for it, so I don't know if that counts as working.
Hmm.
Do you want to help?
Sure.
Okay.
See
So
how
I
can-
figured I'd bring him a wrap. Maybe you bring him the wrap.
I can do that.
Hey.
I think you just want me to buy wraps.
I'll buy them. I have money on me for once.
For once.
I didn't spend it all on tattoos, just most of it.
Hmm.
But he supposedly leaves around now-ish to do shopping and stuff. So I was just gonna go down and try and talk to him and see if he'd give me them, because I'm not supposed to incite violence.
Right. Well, surely a snack and a conversation could put us in the right direction.
I think so.
Worth a try, I guess.
No one seems to want these papers anyway. They have known about them for months.
Wait, who has?
The whole group.
Oh.
Sure. I told everybody I saw them for when we first met them and saw them.
Oh. Mm,
on the cart. Back when we thought she was kidnapped.
yeah.
Let's see if we can find him, though. Step one.
Yeah. Locate Morden.
Okay. So the two of you are heading down and just kind of milling around the entrance to the kiln.
Are there any nice benches?
There is actually a perfectly placed bench for you guys to sit at and watch the entrance to the kiln.
Wonderful. We'll sit there and watch the entrance.
The waiting game.
And we
Um,
pull out the dice for rollies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can do rollies in the meantime. Let's do real quick a couple round of rollies. Both
I
of you roll
won't
me
use my
d20.
I won't take my Nyx die. I'll use one of the non-good ones.
Yeah, use a worse dice.
All right.
I still got a 16.
5.
Mhm. Okay,
Mm.
we'll do best of 3. So on to the next.
Different
Alright.
die. Different die.
Different die.
7.
10.
Hey, all right,
There
comes
you
down to
go.
this.
There's that middle number.
There's that
we
middle
wanted.
roll. That's what I wanted to see.
1,
All right,
2,
final roll.
3. Oh God.
18.
5.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Nyx reigns supreme on rollies.
Classic.
I didn't even cheat.
Hmm.
But
Haven't
both of
done that in a
you give
while.
me perception checks. I think I got to give y'all disadvantage.
Oh
Uh,
no. Well, Jesus Christ.
There you go.
3.
There. I got a nat 1, which puts me at 11.
Well,
Okay. And what'd you get, Kel?
3.
Okay. Rollies is fun and interesting. I don't know what to tell
Apparently,
you.
it's very fun and interesting.
It's really fun.
If you guys are sitting here for like an hour, like,
We're like, oh
you're like,
shit, wait.
has he come out yet? Like, you kind of glance over and you're like, no. And you can see that the guards keep kind of glancing over at the two of you who have set up shop near the entrance to the kiln and are just kind of sitting there and are just
Loitering.
playing dice games. They're like, okay.
Is there a no loitering sign? Are they going to threaten to tap
There's
the
gonna
sign?
be
Is there
tomorrow.
a sign
There's gonna be the next day. You can believe that.
on this bench
Uh,
specifically?
on specifically that bench.
Wow. Okay.
After about an hour and 45 minutes, though, you can. It's the thing is, it's kind of hard to miss. You may have missed him leaving, but maybe you're in a slightly better position to see him returning, as Morden with a couple canvas bags in tow is making his way towards the entrance of the kiln.
Oh, there he is.
She's gonna get up and take Kel with her to get in his way. With the sandwich that's been sitting here for 2 hours for him.
Hmm.
Hey, can you guys just roll a d20 for vibes for me? What vibes you are approaching with? Because
What's an 18? Now I have
pretty good vibes. Pretty good
I
vibes.
got a 15 vibes.
Okay, not terrible vibes. You can sense his like immediate like discomfort. I think that is apparent. He does not pick up pace, but he seems like he's not interested in stopping exactly. He kind of goes like raises a hand like hello, but like does not seem intent on stopping until you situate yourselves in front of him. To which then he will stop and look up at both of you.
Good evening.
Hey.
I got this sandwich for you like 2 hours ago, but we missed you leaving. So you can still have it. She'll hand it to
It
him.
might be a little soggy.
Oh, thanks. He'll take it. This is reminiscent to him of Fen keep trying to give him pocket bacon,
Yeah.
but and he's like, great, awesome. People are giving me subpar food. Awesome, cool. But he'll take it because he's polite.
So Morden, I need to talk to you about something.
He looks so uncomfortable. He looks so incredibly uncomfortable. Uh-huh.
So, okay. You know how when we were at the library, Dagwood was like almost dead from how she was overworking herself?
Uh-huh.
I kind of think she's doing that again with the same thing, with those papers things that she has you hiding for her. And that's why she's not eating and isn't taking care of herself. She looked really bad earlier. And I think maybe you should give the papers to Keld or Roshan, and maybe just make sure she doesn't have them and has to take like a couple days for herself.
That
She
might
does
take a
not.
little bit off her plate.
That's for like a day or two.
Now, Nix, do you think you need to roll me persuasion or deception?
I mean, guess what? It doesn't matter. They're
But I'd
both
love
a
to know which
-1.
one it is. But I'd like to know.
Keld's like 100% going with persuasion, but I'm sure Nyx is like deception.
I feel like it's deception on Nyx's part.
Okay. So
Not
Nix,
that it
roll me
isn't
deception.
true, but
Keld, you roll me persuasion.
I would like to use my birthday inspiration. I'm just going to say it off the bat with
Wow.
this -1.
Perfect.
We're using this.
Hey. Alright.
Yeah, it's a good thing I used the birthday inspiration. Very good thing I used the birthday inspiration. We went from a 1 to an 18.
Wow.
Ooh.
I got
So
a
what do we got,
26.
boys? 26.
18. It was a 19, so 18.
Okay. See, your dice swing wildly. They don't
They
know
really
the
do.
middle. They only swing
They
wildly.
wanted either a 0 or near perfection.
Yeah, that's all they know. And it's sometimes scary and I get intimidated as a player in your game. But as a DM, beautiful 10 out of 10, keep it up. As a player, it scares me and I'm scared of it. But right now, I'm in. Both of you are very convincing. Keld, you don't really know all the extra bits and bobs about this. Nyx is, I would say, mostly the deception is like about giving it to Roshan. You're like, yeah, give it to him, even
He's
though
also
you're like,
kind of
I
deceiving me.
need it.
Like,
Yeah.
he's just going with it.
Just give it to somebody that's not me.
Don't.
I can't touch it. My hands will ruin the papers.
Hmm.
He like looks at between the two of you, and there is just this growing discomfort. This this very palpable discomfort from this man. Okay. Sure. I could give it to you for a few days.
And we can meet you maybe a different spot because I don't know if they like that we sat on this bench.
Uh-huh.
You'd think a
Uh,
bench was for sitting on, but
Maybe this one's a decorative bench.
You see that Morden is like avoiding eye contact and like kind of begins to like he opens up his jacket and like kind of reaches into like this inner side pocket.
Hmm.
Pulling out it looks like a couple pieces of paper held together at the corner, mostly from like being like dog-eared is what it kind of looks like. and he reaches up and puts it in Nyx's hand.
Hmm?
Like pushes it into her hand and then turns and goes.
That is weird. Does this look like the paper I saw before?
Yeah. Nyx is like Keld's reaching over to grab it. You like have it in your hands and you're like, I don't want to grab it too intensely.
Just like,
You're not so damp that you can't hold a piece of paper for a moment.
but it's
Uh,
still concerning.
yeah.
Hmm.
Placed into your hand. And you both of you roll Arcana for me.
Hmm. +0. Well, 19.
With my -1, 17.
It's pretty good. Yeah, there's a bunch of fancy like bullshit on the front. You
Yeah.
guys are like, this looks magic. I'll let you both roll insight with advantage.
24.
I also got 24. Look at us go.
Wow.
Wow, you guys are so honed in on this piece of paper.
Like,
We are locked in.
we're just like, this is paper.
You guys ever seen paper?
Is this the paper?
Something that strikes you is Nyx, from your memory, it does look like a little different, but also there's multiple pieces of paper. So that can be explained away if you were interested in explaining it away. It also does not seem like that fancy of magic. Like it does not seem like the high degree to which it was being held prior. That it's something that needed to be kept secret, that it is the rest of Ave's plan. Like it seems like it is much, much simpler than that. As you look at it, and then Nyx, there's like a slight warmth in your hand as you watch like the runes on the front begin to fade out, and then a red rune make its way to the front, and the paper burns away in your hand, just goes up in flames. Both of you with your very good rolls, that rune looked as if it were curse adjacent.
I don't think he wanted to give us that paper.
Hey, so do you think the paper itself is cursed, or do you think I'm now cursed? Because we just got rid of one.
Do you feel anything?
Do I feel anything?
Roll insight for self.
Self insight. 17.
I think I'll turn it over to you, Nyx. How do you think you feel?
I think she feels concerned.
Uh-huh.
So can't really discern if it's a new feeling or just the panic.
Yeah.
Might be a curse, might be the pen.
So maybe we should go find Roshan. He can do the thing where he like slaps a hand on you and identifies if you're a cursed thing or not. Because last time it did the scribble thing, so we should be able to at least tell.
1 second. How far did Morden get?
Morden's gone. Morden is back inside. You hear the door close.
Hmm. Okay. I'll let him get away for now.
Morden's the one who's wrong. Get him.
How's- How did he know to? If
If
that
you
wasn't
cursed
the
my
real
sister, we're gonna
thing,
have a problem.
how did they know that I was gonna look at it?
Hmm.
That's confusing.
Could have been anybody looking at.
Well, you guys should go talk to Roshan about all this weirdness and have
We
that
can go
checked
talk to
out.
Roshan.
Yeah, that's probably our best bet.
So, do you think he's still partying?
No, I spoke to him earlier, and I think he's with Rose.
Should we interrupt that, or should I wait till tomorrow?
I guess if we run into him, then we run into him.
And we can like loiter outside her house. Maybe there's a bench there for a little bit and see if he walks outside.
Maybe so.
You guys go and loiter outside of Rose's house for a while, and it is dead quiet inside. There is like no sounds from inside.
Maybe they went to bed.
Yeah, it is pretty late.
Well, if it's a curse, I'll still be cursed tomorrow.
Hmm. You know, how bad can it be?
It can't be much worse than the last one, right?
Surely not.
We got through that.
He's just pulling that out of his pocket. Like, we got other things to worry about.
Like maybe it's a normal one, like the one that you helped Nana with, and I can just drink some tea.
Maybe so.
Okay. So you guys going to bed, or are you partying tonight? What
Well,
are
I
you guys
was
doing?
gonna go see Thor and them. Did you want to come with?
Sure.
Hmm.
Okay. The two of you go off to meet up with the ladies, and after getting some drinks and talking to each other, they inform you that they are going to go do the spinal tap, and that's where we're going to take our break.
This
Guys,
is Spinal Tap? Wow.
Thanks for being here. Go get a snack and a drink, and we'll see you guys in 10 minutes.
Thank you, Ted.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice School, episode 222 of On the Backs of Gods. The day is winding down. Choices were made, conversations were had. Now we're going to Spinal Tap. Nixon Kelp. I don't know why I put food in my mouth. It was a mistake. 1 second. I'm talking. Let me put food in my mouth. Nixon Keld, you follow the ladies sort of in a spiraling upwards of the skull to almost the very top and sort of like in a corner where you see that a bungee jump has been set up. And then about 60 to 70 feet directly below is this jagged bone spur that is sticking out of the wall of the skull. And you are informed that the intent of the Spinal Tap is, first off, you just have fun bungee. But if you're really going for it, the intent is to tap the bone spur. That's the big fancy goal. That's the adrenaline rush, is trying to touch the bone spur. Who's going on the Spinal Tap?
Both of us, of
Yep.
course.
Together. Let's do it.
Is it an
Together
We got
we
option?
this
can
together.
If it's an option, we can go together.
Sibling
No.
power!
They seem to say you shouldn't do that.
That's probably
Oh,
exceeding a weight
wow,
limit or something.
okay.
Can I tell you that these are the seediest looking people you have ever been strapped into safety gear by?
Are they my
Well,
friends
I
from Bone
mean-
Spur?
You do recognize one guy from Bone Spur. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
hey!
Hey!
He looks like he's at least blind in one eye.
Oh, yeah.
His
Hey,
hands
it's the
are like a
cool
little
chick.
shaky.
Hmm.
And he is strapping both of you into safety harnesses. And by safety harnesses, I mean kind of like wrapping a rope around you.
Yeah.
So
we
here's the
do a
thing.
double check on that.
You can die doing anything, you know?
Yeah.
I need both of you to roll me a d20 and tell me if you get a 1.
An 11.
13.
Oh, thank
Okay.
God.
So if you both have intents to try and touch the bone spur, how about you give me I would accept, I'm feeling nice, athletics or acrobatics, to try and kind of put more weight in or stretch yourself further to try and tap the bone spur.
Or like make yourself aerodynamic on the way down. I don't know.
I'm not thinking too hard about it. It's just magic's real. Sometimes you bungee unsafely to a bone spur in a big skull.
21.
Yeah. 15.
Well,
Um,
neither of you ate it.
I got a 21.
That was
That's
pretty
almost
good.
the best I can do.
I'm
Pretty
going to say
darn good.
Keld goes first. Keld, you are able to. I'm not going to use the word tap. You make contact with the bone spur, but maybe a little too aggressive. So you take 1 point of piercing damage as you kiss the bone spur. And then Nix, you get to watch that, and you're like, okay,
Ow! I
a
tapped it.
lesson is learned.
Not like that, but similar.
You don't do it. Don't do from top. Maybe try from side or something like that. So you go down and you spank the bone spur, and it is a raucous time of people doing things to be adrenaline junkies and have a good time. It's basically the vibe here. You are given really aggressive homemade alcohol that people are enjoying. It's very strong and very gross.
That's what we needed tonight.
Yeah.
Rot gut.
Does it do anything? I'll drink it.
How much are you drinking, Nix?
How much do they give me?
They brought like a lot of it.
Nyx has her own bottle.
Does Nyx get to find out she can drink again?
Since there's not other beverages to enjoy, I think she would just be like, well, I
Hmm?
guess.
Yeah,
They would
no,
keep
Nix, you get shit faced.
Oh no.
We learn.
We're learning
Is
tonight,
she
guys.
convinced for a little bit that no,
It's
there's
false.
no way I can't be drunk?
It was impossible before.
Nix, you're slurring.
No, you're just sideways.
Yeah,
Wait.
you're sideways because Gressa has picked you up and is carrying you out of here. So you're like, count sideways. That's crazy. As you are lifted up. And
That's not
carried
on
back home.
me. I'm not drunk. You're sideways.
It's
I just didn't want to
crazy.
walk.
I did this on purpose. As she runs over to a side area to vomit at some point. But everybody can get as shit-faced as they want to get, and eventually will find their way back to the safety of whatever place they are sleeping in that evening. And then the morning comes. All of you get a long rest. Now, I'll be a little expeditious, yeah, with Team Beach, that Fen does come back, and will be like, it's time to go back, and we'll turn everybody into wind, and we'll take the three of you up, and away, after he says his goodbyes to Corrine. The three of you whoosh back towards Skull City. Is there anything from any of the Skull City side people before the team is reunited?
I think Roshan is doesn't move a muscle and is incredibly cramped when Rose finally wakes up in the morning, and they share awkward pleasantries because this is, they're awkward. And he says, "I guess I'll see you later." And I think he doesn't show up at breakfast until like I think he's the last one at breakfast. I think he lollygags and doesn't show up until it's like 30 minutes till the time we're supposed to meet Tall.
Also, and to be fair, I don't think you guys have like set up a meeting time and or place with Ptolemaeus.
Oh, that's right. We were just supposed to talk with him. So I think Roshan would that morning at a normal time for somebody to be awake. Reach out to Tall and be like, "Hello. Hope you have time to see us today. We're pretty free. When are you free?"
He gives a variety of times that he is available. Like, I could be available at these times. There's one that's more morning adjacent, and then there's one that's more evening adjacent, and basically says he's going to be in these places anyways around this time, and tells you about a park that's at the Midway. So basically you can show up at either time and he'll be there. But he says it in 25 words.
Roshan will reach back out with another sending and say, "Well, we'll plan to see you this morning at this Midway Park." And then since the rest of us also didn't pick out a place to see each other, I assume we're all just going to meet at the, not the Hard Fiddle, not Bone Spur. What's our...
It's like the Fearless Pig or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
What this pig name?
Was it? It wasn't Dauntless. No.
No, it was
What
about
was
a
it?
pig.
It was pig adjacent. We go to the pig tavern.
The
Go to
pig
the
one.
Tavern.
The oinky one.
Pig Tavern. I'm almost there, right? The Fearless Hog. Okay. Yeah, you all eventually meet up at the Fearless Hog in very odd timings, I'll say. That it's like if you're trying to meet up with your friends, like you're content to sit there for a hot minute because some people are flying across the continent and some people, I guess, are Roshan, uh, who have decided they're going to be later than the people flying across the continent. So Roshan's like, he walks by a couple times to make sure that he's the last one in. Like, not yet.
Nyx
Not
has
yet.
probably got the worst hangover ever because she hasn't
Yeah.
had alcohol in months now.
Uh-huh.
It was
But
just the leg
eventually,
at the table.
yeah. But eventually everybody is reunited. What are we up to? Breakfast is had, people are thriving. We're all back in Skull City, baby.
I think Roshan says, well, Nana Fen Ptolemaeus has given us a time and place. Nyx and Keld, you're welcome to come meet him if you'd like.
Yes, certainly. I'd very much like to see Ptolemaeus again, actually. I hope he's available for all of us all at once. But if he's willing, I'm glad. I'm glad to see him.
Yeah, just before that, I wanted to talk privately somewhere,
Sure.
if you don't mind.
I'm certainly on board. I'm certain we've got rooms aplenty that are private enough. Shall we?
Yeah, do we still have rooms? I think Roshan assumed since Sindri fired us, we no longer had rooms, and so he never checked because that's embarrassing.
Um,
Is that
it is
what's the
easy
deal?
enough to acquire a room. You're
Yeah.
correct. Your rooms are probably not currently being paid for.
That makes sense. If we're not being paid by Sindri, our rooms are not being paid by Sindri. So in that case, yeah, I'm sure we can fork up enough for a few rooms.
Yeah, Roshan will pay for a room for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because
You pay the full price of a room for 15 minutes.
he's keeping us on a schedule because we got to meet Tall at the park. And I think he looks nervous and excited as people are coming into the room. And then it takes probably a good minute of everyone staring at him and like, well,
If you're gonna put it off, I might be cursed if you want to check that while you decide if you're gonna tell us whatever you're thinking about.
What about a
What?
curse? I'm sorry?
Sorry,
What?
we don't have time for that if we're going to
Okay,
meet Tall.
we can wait.
Time to see if you're cursed. Sorry, girly.
It's fine.
Maybe we could do it on the way. I just wanted to say that
Killed bristles a little at that.
if you let me just get it out. And Roshan says, so Rose has finally decided that it's time to, I don't know, be truthful with me. And here it is. She knows and is preparing to perform a ritual that will funnel power into the Keeper and make them a bulwark against corruption.
Would they become their own entity, no longer tied to you? What's the intent?
Yes, that's the intent. My sister and I were made as vessels for power when we were born, or anyway. We're going to use that power to well, we're going to combine it and funnel it into the keeper and produce something that has agency, can act, can protect us all from corruption, and maybe even eventually destroy it. Um, it is a dangerous ritual. I Rose is kind of a nihilist, and I don't know if she wants to survive it, but uh, I will be working my hardest to make sure that we do. But there's several things we need to do first, including, uh, well, what we were doing with Pink, and I need to I need to find another source of power to verify that I'm ready. Anyway, I just wanted you to know.
So what does this mean for... I understand that it's best for us to get on with business as usual. I understand that it's best for us not to signal any of whatever Ave's intent may have been, but what... So once this... I don't know, I'm maybe missing a step or two here. Rose does not think that she will survive this ritual. Is that... Am I reading you right?
Rose doesn't know.
Right.
And I don't think, well,
I mean, she doesn't
it's probably hubris to
seem to
believe
be in
that
the
I
best
would,
health.
and she wants to, the the magic that she's stored up in herself is killing her. And
Okay.
doing this ritual would funnel that magic ostensibly into the keeper, and
That
She
magic
thinks she would not
looks.
survive.
The magic looks like corruption. Are we sure that it's something that should be funneled elsewhere?
well, that is an excellent question, one that I don't have the answer to because it's all fresh for me too.
Hmm.
Okay.
Did she
She was
even
afraid
tell
I would.
you what you guys are gonna do? Like,
What are the
Just-
steps to this ritual exactly? What is the cost?
Well, these are all things that I'm unsure of.
and you've
Okay.
agreed to do it?
In fairness to Roshan, that is exactly what we did when we stepped out on our mission with Ave at the start of all of this. So perhaps we have all been a bit too strong in our deference to the people we trust. Who knows? But as it is, we're currently working off of incomplete information, and that's not my preference.
Will
I'd
she
like
be
for us
able
to know more.
to give us some more information?
I only assume yes. I'll need more information before I can go much further. There's only what I can do to prep.
Did she... I mean, beyond, you said seeking another power source. I remember there
Can
was
you
something
share?
you were able to do with that battery that was connected to that place we fought with Fenris Wolf.
What do you need to
Yes.
do to prep?
So when I first made pact with the keeper, there were 4 entities in total. 2 of them you've helped me get rid of. And when the last one was, I think Roshan gets a little bit emotional and doesn't know how to talk about Gulveg or the New Flame. When
Put to
the
peace.
last one was destroyed, the fourth one went silent, and
Do you
I
think
can't
it
tell.
was destroyed or no?
Well, that's what I need the source of power for. Is if I perform the same shearing that I did with the first two, and find no purchase, then we'll know that they were gone the whole time.
And if you
And if
do
it works, then
find
it works.
purchase, it shears off this other entity, and then what happens? Do they fight, as Fenris Wolf did, as the New Flame did?
Potentially. There's always the potential, yes. But
All right.
this...
Then let's plan where we do this and when. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. This entity, I believe, as silly as it sounds, to be a shade of Odin, and I believe the easiest thing would be to get a hold of the spear, although
That seems difficult, provided
yes.
we've already received our parting notice.
Yes. I don't know. There are other things I could find.
It's gonna be kind of hard to get to the spear.
It is the most readily accessible that we know of, but accessible does not mean without consequence.
Sindri's having a hard time, I think, being apart from it at the moment.
What do you mean?
Why?
Oh, when he picked it up, he had a really hard time putting it back down and, had a hard time not staring at it the whole time I was there. Oh, yeah, I went back there.
Do you mind if I ask why?
Well, you weren't there with the whole conversation that happened. Roshan, you were there. I didn't like how that conversation went, so I went back because he's
Can I
important.
assume that Nana gets a cliff notes of that conversation?
Of the team one with Roshan?
The team one, at least? Yeah, that she was not present for.
He said that he didn't trust us, and I don't like that because we're kind of related sort of through Russ now, and I want to make sure that it was better than it is. And so I told him that I would not lie to him anymore, and I touched the spear, and it tried to attack me, I think. And then I didn't touch the spear, and he picked up the spear, and when I touched it the second time, it didn't attack me. So I don't recommend touching it on your own.
That sounds to be that madness effect he mentioned.
Did you
Probably.
swear an oath on the spear?
Well, I didn't want him to think I was lying to him while talking to him since he doesn't trust us, so I just said that I wouldn't lie to him.
Nix.
I'm going to say Fen nods like that's a sensible thing. It's like, why would we lie to him? I'm not lying. You're not lying.
It was what I would say anyway.
That's
But
fine.
now...
And there should be no issue making an oath about it.
In theory, yes. Assuming he has any interest in allowing us to continue doing anything related to what Ave wanted. Which I cannot believe is the case. I do not think he wants any of Ave's work continued. And I think he would just as soon have it all stamped out.
That's what I gathered.
I mean, he told me it's more he doesn't think it's possible to get rid of corruption entirely. Thinks it'd be really cool and would be out of a job and would love for that to happen. But doesn't
Do
think it could
you
happen.
honestly think, Nix, that you could persuade him to believe that whatever this is, that Roshan and Rose are meant to participate
Well,
in.
I don't like this whole thing about Roshan wanting to go kill himself. That's another story, and we're
I
going to talk about
really
that.
would not rather either of
We're
them
gonna talk about
die.
that. I
And
don't know if we're
Roshan,
gonna
I
do
really
that.
do hope you're serious about not going to allow that to be the case.
I'm not going to allow it to be the case, but that's another step. If we learn what the whole thing, I made this promise that I won't lie to him. So if I present information to him, he'd know I'm not lying.
Well, if that's the case, I feel like we should at least figure out a baseline amount of truth that is safe to disclose to Sindri until such time as we know more about all of this. I mean, Roshan, be fair. She's married to the man who thinks of him as a father figure. Can you believe that she'd keep much of this from Russ?
You guys didn't keep much of it from him either.
No, we were very plain because we wanted to deal plainly with him. And frankly, I do not wish any more grievance on Russ than we have already visited on him. I really don't. And I really would rather not spit in his face. I would love to believe that Ave's ritual really could be for the betterment of the entire continent. I would much rather believe that of my brother than that he was so conceited as to think that I can't deal in half facts and speculation anymore. I can't. It's going to drive me mad. So, we need facts. We need information. We need to know what's happening. We need to know why. And for the time being, Nyx, if I may be very frank, I do not want to ask you to lie to your husband and do what you think you must. But what is his obligation then as Sindri's employee if he is told of any of this?
I would guess he would inform him.
I'm not telling you don't tell him ever. I might ask you don't tell him yet. But please do what you think is best. I'm just asking. Ave was my brother, and I have to believe that he was not a madman and was not a megalomaniacal maniac. I can't believe that he was out to just do like Bosch did. I can't deny that there's some of the same strokes there, and I really hope my brother was better than that. I really do. I'd like to at least find it out for myself before his killer does. Please.
I think Roshan fell silent a little bit ago, and then after that stands up and heads to the door and is like, all right, well, are you ready to go meet Tall? We should leave if we don't want to be late.
We don't want to be, but Roshan, please tell me that you are going to try everything you can to keep yourself and Rose safe. I can't lose anybody else, please.
Roshan will say, of course, as he's walking through the door.
I'm gonna make you say that to my face later, but it can wait.
And then Roshan will lead them to the Midway Park for fun times.
Fun times.
The cutout of Fen bounces
Beep
through.
bop boop bop boop.
Anything for the walk over? I'm going to say the identification spell, especially because it involves your book and writing. cannot accomplish while walking. Not in Skull City. Not here.
That makes sense. You have to use your eyes too much to navigate and figure out whether or not you're gonna, step off a parapet.
You also have to have like contact with Nyx, and it's a
I'll wait till we get to the park.
Nyx is like, fine, don't tell me if I'm dying. It's cool.
You just
Fine,
feel Keld's
Roshan.
eyes on you the whole walk.
Well, if you hadn't had so many questions, we could have done it before we left.
You could have done it while we were asking the questions.
That's
Got
way
him.
too much to think about.
Are you saying you're not smart enough to do that, Roshan, at the same time?
Yes.
Are you gonna let?
Wow.
Oh goodness.
His fingers are crossed behind his back.
Aim
Well, I
it.
just didn't want to.
Uh-huh. Right. Methinks he doth
It's
protest
fine.
too much.
We're doing it first thing, though.
It doesn't take too long to get to this Midway Park. It's unlike a park. There is grass. This like area has been like cultivated to have like a couple of little trees and some bushes and a patch of green grass with some cobblestone and a couple places to sit. It looks like people come here to mostly decompress. There's also like a little crack in the skull above that like the sun, it seems at this time, kind of shines through and kind of warms the park with actual sunlight.
Nice.
Um,
It feels different, I imagine, from the ambient warmth of the inner Skull City area.
It's different. It does make you realize though that the lighting in Skull City changes, because it seems like there hasn't been a point where you guys are like, what time is it? What's going on? It seems like there is an ambient change of lighting in the space that makes that so that you're not like, trapped in a room and time isn't real, right?
Like they dim the lights as the sun sets and they
Yeah.
bring the lights up as the sun rises.
The light in the space is as if the sun is shining on Skull City, depending on the time of day. But it's never as dark as it would get outside, but does get dimmer. You guys arrive at this park with maybe little quotes around it, and there are a few people about. Somebody reading, somebody it looks like having breakfast, somebody who has just the tiniest, shakiest little dog who they just like set down on the grass and just like watch intently. And you see that dog yelp and start to run away as the person follows after and scoops up their dog because its legs are like, what, 3 inches long. So that dog's not getting anywhere quick. Scoops it up, and you see that the dog was startled by this kind of mid-sized dog-like creature, short, coarse brown hair, long snoot, kind of stubby little legs, very just round in all of its proportions. This is Hercules, the capybara, who kind of just was waddling through the grass and just kind of like seems very content to be in the space, and is pursued by a young man with olive-colored skin and light brown hair, wearing sort of kind of flowy white robe situation off of one shoulder. My friends, it is good to see you.
Ptolemaeus, it's grand to see you as well.
He kind of like looks around, and it's like, are some of you busy?
Busy? How do you mean?
Well, and kind of like looks over the group and gives like a quick like kind of like hello to Keld and Nyx, and is like, where is Gorbjorn and Saga and Tordrek?
Ah, yes. We need to catch you up on the situation, I'm afraid. I mean, like, Nana is glad to give him the full spiel.
Yeah, you can
more or
you can
less,
say
yeah.
that you give him the spiel of where
Yeah.
each person went.
Yeah. Yeah, just catch him up to present so far as we're aware. We've not had an opportunity to check in with them very recently. It seems as though Saga perhaps is possibly journeying abroad, maybe plane jumping. We're not entirely certain, but I'm certain she's quite safe. I'm certain Tordrick is in good hands, under Ink's watch. But Gorbjorn, it sounds like, was very set on his course and doing well for himself, so far as we could tell last we heard. So,
Well, that's good to hear that they are safe.
and I mean, I'm sure, like, over the course of things, like Keld and Nyx's introduction
Oh,
to the
I'm
party
assume they are
can be
introduced during
folded in.
this
Yeah.
this conversation where he's like, "Where's the people I know?" And
Yeah, and here's
it's
the
very
people I
nice
don't know.
to meet you.
Mm.
Uh, good company.
Mm. They certainly are, honestly. They've been very stalwart companions through as many things as we saw through with Gorbjorn, Tordrick, and Saga. So,
Kelda's kneeling down and meeting Hercules.
Almost a high
Ah,
Hercules.
Hercules.
Yeah, you guys are hanging out with Hercules, who eventually sort of like kind of falls onto his side
Yes.
and lays there.
God,
Nyx,
he's
you are
so
now able
good.
to wild shape into a capybara.
Yes. Oh, that's so
uh,
blessed. That's so
it
blessed.
was nice to catch up. I can spend a little time here, and then I have to get back to. I think it's more volunteer work, but it's work.
Do tell, what is it that you've been up to since you came to the city? I'm certain you were entertained or intrigued by Fenn's designs. Beyond that, though, I've not been aware of much of what you've been doing.
um, well, my balloon got a little stuck. There's some problems with that, but it's solved. It's fine. Um, I am helping the chief prepare for the city's birthday party. I am setting up some flashy displays. Make
Oh,
it fun.
interesting. I imagine that's an excellent challenge for someone of your skills in particular.
And as it is coming up in 2 days, 3 days, I don't know what day it is. So
We could
uh,
rattle off the day of the week for him, I think.
and he
Maybe.
still doesn't. He's like, that's still 2 or 3.
Uh,
Honestly, somebody would have to
uh,
tell me when the due date is. He's like, it's 2 or 3 still in my mind.
It's
Could be
fine.
tomorrow for all he knows.
It could be tomorrow, and he'd be like, that makes sense also. So
Mm. Well, all the best. I certainly hope that it goes smoothly.
thank you. Here's hoping. Just a little something to be entertaining. Nothing too crazy.
You're not missing any supplies or anything that you might need brought, I suppose, on short notice. We're not particularly busy at present with too many
It would
other
be a bit late
tasks.
now, but
would we?
no, I am perfectly stocked.
All right. Sorry about that, but if nothing else, maybe we'll be in town in time for that party and we'll get to see your displays.
I think it is worth seeing.
I'm very excited to see what you've put together. And Hercules is adapting well to city life, it seems.
Hercules is pretty good anywhere, especially being inside of the basket for so long. Being able to walk around, he's usually pretty grateful.
Hmm. Makes sense. He certainly seems to have made some fast friends. Grins at Nix and
He has
Kel.
that effect on people.
He does. He's a great unifier, is Hercules.
He gets comfy and like sits down on one of the benches. He's happy to hang out. He has a little bit of time, but
Mm,
also he's like, you know, he can be left to his own devices. He's
yeah.
pretty flexible.
I don't know if Kyle Fenn had any specific questions he may have had for
Not that I was told
Tall.
about. And if they do, they're inserted here and they talk about it.
Understood.
Since when Roshan's gonna cast Identify on me, keep giving him looks. Waiting.
Elder's been just staring at Roshan so
The
intensely.
whole time.
Just petting Hercules, staring.
Yeah, I think while Roshan lets Nana steer the conversation, after about a minute of Nyx enjoying Hercules' company, he will open his book and set it down beside her and say, would you place your hand on the page?
Mhm.
And we'll do the short casting of it, and draws a little hand turkey around your hand and with magic symbols, and casts Identify using a spell slot.
Ooh. I think that's the first time this has ever happened.
Wow.
You can
Wow.
do this fast?
What?
Yeah, it's just more draining, but
I
Never mind.
see. Well, in the field, I can imagine you want to save some of your magical energy for combat-relevant spells, and if you can save that energy by taking a little more time, I can
You're
appreciate
talking to
that.
Beetle.
Yeah, that's true.
Go back to
I-
talking to Beetle.
I'm talking to
Talk
Beetle.
your friend.
Yeah, never mind. I'm talking to my friend.
I'm catching up, unlike everyone else. I'll say Fen is also catching up. Insert question here, insert pleasantry here. But what, it takes a minute or is it instantaneous? A minute? Okay. A minute passes. Yes, Nyx is under the effects of, first off, many magics. There are many magics upon Nyx's body. A lot of them being tattoos. A big portion of them being tattoos. Another one of those being what you only can assume to identify as the oath.
great.
And that's what you're seeing.
Well, it looks like the only thing that is curse-like is the oath you took. Why do you think you were cursed?
She'll explain what happened with Morden.
You did.
He handed me a piece of paper and it, like, very specifically, and it looked like a curse. I'm not gonna lie. So either Morden hates me or Dagwood hates me now. And I think they cursed me. Subtle curse.
Well, Keld is good at breaking curses. I'm usually pretty good at seeing them, but if you're worried, I could try again at a different time.
Maybe it was just to scare you.
Well, I'm not allowed to go see her anymore, so I can't ask.
Well, I'm sorry you got scared by Morden.
I think he was also scared at the same time. He ran.
He did. He ran really fast.
Well, you're both a lot bigger than him, and it sounds like you were kind of shaking him down.
We were being nothing but polite, but
Now I feel like I have to go back and ask him if it was a curse. So this time it will be.
I'll shake him.
I don't think he's being treated particularly well down there, so
He's allowed to go whenever he wants. I asked. He can do
Yeah,
what he wants.
but he wants to be with Dagwood, and Dagwood is also not being treated well down there.
Hmm. Yeah, it is a strange
I don't
situation.
know. I feel like Dagwood is not treating herself well.
Well,
Hmm.
that's always been true. That is literally always the case.
So I don't know how much of what you saw was her not being treated well versus just what she chooses to do, because it was the same thing at the library where nobody was watching her and
Oh.
making her do that. So
To be fair, I think she's being fed. It's not her emaciation and general demeanor that I'm worried about. I'm worried about her being a slave to the oath she made to the spear. Anyway, sorry, Toll, you said you were making some things.
I want
For
to keep
the-
them a secret so that it is
Oh.
surprise when you see it.
well, okay, I think I'm gonna go so you can tell them, and it'll at least be a secret for me.
Oh,
Which-
okay.
Well, if nothing else, I'll tell you what. Give us a clue about the thing you think everyone's going to miss, so that we can be certain to pay attention.
Well, now I have to. I mean, I would say for all of it, look up, but you know,
Hmm.
keep an eye out for the little things. Nix, you're leaving.
Yes.
Fair enough.
This guy wink wonks about. He does seem to let loose the concept of fireworks. That seems to be relayed. But there
Okay.
is another thing that he does not spill the beans on. So you at least know
Aha.
that there's
A
a
special
fireworks
secret
display.
thing. A
But there's
fireworks
something
display
else also.
and thing. Ooh.
Yeah. But you
I
guys can
think
hang out
that's
with
going to be
Ptolemaeus.
spectacular. Yay. Very excited.
Nix, where you running off to?
I'm going to Rose's house to talk to this woman
Yeah.
about a certain new situation.
Yeah, you make your way to Rose's place.
I told
me
you
roll.
to talk to your brother. I didn't tell you to convince him to die.
I don't think you understood me. Okay. How do you knock on this door? How do you showing up? How do you roll up?
Is it the old shaven haircut, or is it some a little more forceful?
I don't think Nix knows how to knock anything other than a normal person knock.
You ever stomp up to a house and then just knock knock?
Just the normal couple of knocks.
Yeah. A moment passes and
But I think her tattoos are red in
her
anger.
tattoos are red. Perfect.
Angie.
It takes a moment and the door opens. Rose currently has her glamour up, so she looks unimpeded by her markings, and she glances at you. And I think just real quick.
Does Rose know mood tattoos?
I'm gonna go based off of this roll that she's able to pick up what you're putting down a little bit. I'm gonna say honestly, I don't think you can roll against what I rolled. So
I feel
think
like
she's picking
red
up what you're
on
putting
I
down.
got a 6.
ring.
Oh, that's close. That's pretty close, Nix.
I knew
But
it.
you were edged out this time.
I'm very deceptive.
Nix.
Rose? We need to talk.
I guess we need to talk. Come inside.
Start pushing her way in.
Okay. All right.
So, I need you to run by me what the plan is.
In regards
To you and Roshan dying to
mm,
do whatever you're wanting to do. Or the
It
whole thing.
is-
Because you guys have done a really bad job of actually telling us what's going on.
do you recall how yesterday I informed you that it is very easy to talk to you?
Yes.
That's changed a little bit for me.
Well, the others feel the same way. If you want me to bring Nana and have her sit and hear it all, and then she'll tell me about it.
I'm just worried that I'm trying to work on a side project and you're going to go tell Daddy every little bit and piece of it and get him all in a tizzy. He's already in one.
Nick squints for a moment, wondering. So she brought up the whole papers thing here. And
Uh-huh.
is trying to put the pieces together of if
She can
that's
put
what.
those pieces together. I believe in her.
Hmm. Hmm. You do understand if you guys were being forthright, you just told me that straight up, like, hey, I don't think you should go tell him about this because of this plan, and not because, oh, you don't think I should right now just because you want Dagwood to work on. I might have not gone over and told him.
You might not have.
Well, it's hard to tell since nobody's telling us anything.
And I feel like if I tell you something, it's going to be everyone's business. I'm proud of Roshan for being so forward. That's good of him.
And I'll be forward with you. With the information I have, I'm not comfortable letting him do it. You can risk your own life. I'm not letting you risk his.
I'm not sure how much of a say you have in that.
I will take away your broken tattoo magic. I have another wish.
Nyx, roll intimidation with advantage.
All right, guys, this -1. Let's see.
What advantage?
Okay. Okay.
Hmm?
18.
Okay.
19 and an 18. So 18.
So I'm just going to tell you straight up, before you even rolled, that this is a very aggressive, successful tactic that you have chosen. And I think that's something that you feel confident in because you did throw it down big gun style, you know? You knew what you were putting down. You
Mhm.
knew what threat you were throwing. Your role is more of how Rose will respond in the moment, I think,
Mhm.
to this level of intimidation. Okay. I think any semblance of sort of that baseline pleasantries face drops. And I think she steps up to you so that you guys are just like at each other's faces. That is quite the threat, Nyx. So what would you have me do? Would you like me to exclude him so that he cannot participate? Break his heart?
I think you've already done that.
Mm. So should I continue on that path then?
I don't think he should be involved. If this is what you were saying, you were putting off last night telling him, you had years to decide this is what you wanted. A month isn't enough time for him to actually think that through, no matter how much you think that is.
And what if he comes to me?
I'll tell him what I said to you. That if he chooses to do this, that I'm making it not possible.
if you interfere with what is important to me, I will interfere with what is important to you. If you wish it, non-magically, of course, that I exclude Roshan from this, then I will. I will tell him that he is no longer allowed to participate.
If the option you have is going to lead to him dying, that is what I would prefer.
I am quite content after having known years ago, after I was told about this. I was content immediately to die for the good of the people of this continent. And that has not wavered. So, of course, I'm going to do what I intend. You can't stop him if that's what he wants to do. A goodness, a kindness to the people of the continent.
But it needs to be his choice. Right now, what you're doing, what you've done, is you took yourself away from him for 2 years. And the second you were willing to tell him anything, of course he says yes. Of course, he wants you to appreciate him and to give him a chance to help you. And there's no way he'll ever say no right now.
You said it. I will do my best to exclude him. You may have to put in a bit of work on your end to keep him at arm's length, but I'll go back to how things were then.
Right.
Oh, and I'm sure you can assume this, but I'd stay away from the kiln if I was you, the place.
I was planning on it.
Very smart. The door opens on its own.
Next is nothing left to say to her. She'll leave.
Roll me insight.
Sure. 17 plus 10, 27.
Wow. I think your rage, even though it was kind of met with pretty even tone, you think was met with rage. That there is a seething anger that Rose was keeping very well at bay, slipping out on occasion. You have made an enemy. You have very much made an enemy. And that is apparent to you.
I think she kind of knew what she was messing with when she walked up.
And the door
Accepts it.
casually closes behind her. It does not slam, just closes as it was opened.
Too casually.
As casually as I knocked on it.
Let me see. Let me roll something. Let me roll something for my own amusement. Well, Roshan, you receive ascending. It seems some people don't agree with our path. And I would hate to pull you from your friendships. You are lucky to have Nyx keeping you safe. I will do the ritual alone. Rose pours herself a drink.
We just can't have a chill vibe between these two.
They keep making up, and then they just keep going back at it again and again.
It
Guys, I
keeps
just
happening.
fixed it.
She's doing it for him, though. She didn't want her friend to die.
Yeah. That's valid.
It's a valid feeling.
If they hadn't made up, she wouldn't have cared. Let him go die.
But we're friends again.
Shit.
But now we're friends, so I don't want him to die. So I have to do this.
I think Roshan, are they still at the park with Tall, or is
I
Tall
would say you
gone?
guys are like, kind of wrapping that up right now. So this happens while everyone is still there.
And I would like it also stated that Rex has been folded into the conversation at some point. That is canon.
I assume Rex is
Yeah.
involved when Rex is present, unless Rex has
Yeah.
stated otherwise. So
Understood. Anyhow.
I think Roshan gets that sending, and I think Rose gets like a. Well, it was so nice to see you again, Tall. Until we meet again. And I think Roshan turns and just starts walking.
May I insight that, please?
sure, you may roll insight. Roshan, you may roll deception if you are so inclined. Rose is like, well, I might as well stir the pot if everyone's gonna come in my house and be a bitch. I might as
27.
well stir the pot a little bit.
I think you see Roshan's face fall. He becomes formal, and then it's like he's trying to run away.
It was good to see you. I hopefully will see you all at the birthday. And he
I hope
starts trying to
so.
like push Hercules back onto 4 feet so that they can start walking.
Yeah, Nana will give him an extra hand, help Hercules up on all 4 feetsies, give him a pat, give him a carrot, and great to see you again, and hopefully we'll see you another time. Have a good one, all right? And
See you then, and we'll start slowly leading Hercules to wherever they are working currently.
makes sense. Nana kind of like glances at Kel, glances after Roshan, like, I don't want to draw too many conclusions without too much information, but Nyx vanished, and not very long after, Roshan got a very long face. Do you think it's possible Nyx talked to Rose?
It's definitely not impossible.
Well, I suppose we perhaps ought to go and have a look after what's going on with that, do you think?
Yeah, let's see if we can find Nyx.
All right, off we go. Fen and Rex in tow. Paper dolls.
Okay. So, Nyx, where are you going? I just want to see where 2 of our parties are headed so that I may get an idea.
She knows she can drink now. She'd be
Oh,
going.
no.
Where's she going?
So the closest one would probably be the one we'd met at in the morning.
Yes, that one would
Well,
probably
she
be
would
the
head
closest.
there. To,
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay. And Roshan, where are you headed?
I think Roshan is headed to his sister's.
Okay.
He needs to know what the fuck.
Okay. Now, I just want to see if both of you agree with me that we might cross paths during this walk.
It could
I
happen.
think so.
It may
so.
could possibly
Yes.
happen.
So Keld,
Perchance.
Nana, Fen, Rex pursuing behind Roshan.
Uh-huh.
Roshan heading. Yeah, I'll say that
Yeah.
you see each other.
Hmm.
That everyone's back together again.
Aha! Hooray!
I think Roshan will march right up to Nyx and just shout, "What the fuck did you do?" Obviously angry and hurt.
She'll let him yell at her and wait.
No,
a
that's
moment. And wait, just wait a moment. I'm not letting you get yourself killed for something that you don't know what the plan is. She's not willing to share what the plan is. And to me, it feels like she's using you in the way that she made you wait this long to tell you a single thing and ask for help. And for it to be something this dire.
well, Nyx. What gives you the idea that you have a god's damn say in this?
We would really rather not lose any more friends than we have. I'm sure I can speak for more than myself on that point.
Of course, and that's what I'm trying to prevent. But if Nyx, if I can't do this, then she will die. What the fuck am I supposed to do, Nyx? Just leave?
You do what you were going to help them do leading up to it. You're just not part of the ritual itself.
Why?
Why do you not care about the fact that you could very easily die from this?
Because it's happened before, and I've come back every time, Nyx. Death isn't the end. It doesn't need to be. Especially when you've got... Well, I would have called you a friend, but now it seems like you want to tell me what to do, so... Maybe Sindri's not my boss, but maybe you are. What should we do, Nyx?
That's not very fair, Roshan.
Yeah, it's not, Roshan says while staring dead at Nyx. And I think he says, you know what? Fuck this. Day drinking it is. And Roshan will turn around and leave.
I don't even know what exactly happened. As usual.
I may have threatened to take away Rose's ability to do the ritual itself.
I'm sorry, what?
There was no way he was ever going to say no to her.
I understand that, but did you have... Oh,
I
my...
feel like we just don't have enough information yet.
She wasn't willing to give me any.
We could have found
Yeah,
it
she
for
does.
ourselves.
She's not very forthcoming.
I don't
And
disagree.
we can still work on getting more information. Obviously, apparently I'm not going to learn anything, but I don't necessarily have to use this. It was just to make sure that he is not immediately going to throw himself away for this.
I don't...
And she has a chance to make herself live longer to try to figure this out, and she's not going to try. She's more focused on this. And
Okay, I don't... All right, this is a lot. This is a lot. This is a lot, and... I really wish that this hadn't been how it happened, but let's... engage in some day drinking and think about it a while.
I think I have to go to a different bar.
I think you're right.
Yeah. What bar did you start walking towards, Roshan?
I think Roshan, teleported himself to a part of town he doesn't recognize and will find the first place that serves alcohol.
Smart.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just watched Roshan whoop out of existence.
Well, he's probably not in there.
No, he usually does not just disappear only to reappear behind another wall. He considers
like
that
I should-
rather a weak trick.
Maybe I should go back to the apartment and let Russ know of what I've done. I don't know.
Let's
This-
sit and think about it before we do anything else, please.
Yeah,
Just
I
the
a
fact that
little
I
while.
think that I might have made Rose my enemy forever, just so that we're not put in the same place.
it sounds like you came in kind of heavy, so
Let's.
She wasn't gonna listen otherwise. She told you and me both last night she didn't care what we thought.
right.
So this was the only way to get her to care about what I said.
Hmm.
Nix, I really.
It'll just be messy.
I really wish that I had been there. I don't know whether or not Rose cares at all about what I think anymore. I don't know if she ever did at this point. And at this point, I don't know if she'd tell
She
me straight.
seems to have a one-track
So-
mind, naturally.
Mhm.
So
Well, she and Roshan don't fall very far from that tree. So.
no, I'm seeing that.
Let's sit down and have a drink. And when we've finished at least 2, let's figure out what we're going to do.
Okay. Everyone goes off to day drink, and that's where we're going to end tonight's episode with everybody day drinking. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. If you want to see more of this story of how we got to being yelling at each other in public and going to day drink, you can head over to youtube.com/the Dice Cult for past episodes of On the Backs of Gods. You can also watch you can watch past episodes of Gossamer Vale, run by Katie, a Celtic mythology inspired campaign.
Say, is that
early
this
on-
week? Is that
No, it
on
is not.
Thursdays?
That is
Oh.
next week.
Oh, it's next
Uh,
week. Every other Thursday.
Gossamer Vale goes live every other Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So not this Thursday, but next Thursday you can join us. We just had fun at Fight Club, and now we're off to maybe break a curse and save a town. We'll see what happens. You never know. You never know what might get in the way.
You never know.
But you can join us there, and
Mysteries.
we're pretty early on in our episodes. We're not in the we just hit double digits pretty recently, so it's
barely,
not
just
hard to catch
booped
up
'em.
on.
Yeah.
So you can catch up on that if you'd like to keep up with us. We are at Backs of Gods on Instagram. If you'd like to keep up with all of us, we are at the Dice Cult on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Facebook. If you want pretty dice, you can follow the link in the chat or the box below. Pretty tell story. That's the dream.
That's what they
um,
do. They do it best.
Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. We love telling you a story. We'll be here same time, same place, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, cultists.
Ooh, gotta push the right buttons, Jillian. But